Hi guys, hope you're all keeping well again. Welcome to another video. It's on my old vintage laser 4-stroke powered Robbe R22 Mosquito. I've managed to repair the canopy. If you look in my older videos when I first got this, you can see how bad the canopy and what was. So yeah, I've been going back onto this. I've been doing a little bit of work. I've been rubbing down panel after panel on the Aprilia. Been a lovely day today, so I've been cutting the grass and whatnot and all that. So I did this last night. I painted it during the week. It's had a lot of undercoat. I actually cut this top off again because when I repaired it before, it wasn't dead square and it was kind of cocked over one side. So I thought, I'm not going to bite the bullet while it's in primer. I cut it all off one side, lowered it, and what I've been doing is I'm still having problem. I mean, there's such a lot of epoxy resin on the inside of that. It's to do with the guy who had it before me must have painted it in like a household oil based paint. And when I first got the canopy, it was just split in about 4 or 5 pieces. I kind of tacked it together, you know, as best I could, just so I got something to work with. But what I didn't do, and I should have done, I should have rubbed all the paint off the inside. It's totally my fault. I should have rubbed all the paint off the inside before I started tacking it and whatever. But it was like an eggshell, you know. I think worse than eggshell. And I thought, you know, I would rub it down, but I got sort of carried away and glued it here and glued it there. But after a few months, the epoxy resin inside started to lift. And it's caused me all sorts of troubles, as you know. It breaks easy and, you know, I've had to, like, grind a lot of it back. So when I did the top round here, I actually got my Dremel out and I ground it all back to like bare plastic, you know, as best I could, and it all was cracking and going again. So that's what I did, and I've used the aluminium mesh and I've kind of reinforced it with that round here, all the way around, and the glue's taken like really well. But there's other places on here which I've got to have a look at. Along here there's 2 panels in there and I can see that the wire mesh is starting to come off, so I'm going to have a look at that. But I thought I'll get some paint on it and I'll do a vinyl wrap on the screen, because I would have loved to have had a pilot in here, you know, it would have been so nice, but I've got to make do with what I got. So, you know, this was actually split all the way down here, and every time I tried to work on it, it's split up here and there, all over the place. So, you know, I had to rub it all down inside and outside, try and build it up. There's like super glue in there just to sort of tack it together. Then I grooved it all out and epoxied it, and the same with the inside. You know, it's been hours and hours work on this canopy, and again, it's still tending to crack on me and, you know, break. But I thought I'd do this, you know, the vinyl wrap. I've never done it before, so I thought to myself, well, see if I can do a vinyl wrap, because I was going to paint it, and like I've said to you before, I always had trouble with paint and nitro coming off unless you pay someone to do it in 2-pack. So I thought I'll try a vinyl wrap. I've never done it before, and believe you me, it's not easy. It might be easy if you've got something that's solid, but when you've got a really delicate helicopter canopy which weighs nothing, and you've got to try and pull, you know, it's hard. You have to really tug it. So you heat it up. I put one piece down there, and you've got like a square sheet, and just put the heat on, and you have like a squeegee, and you just keep getting the air bubbles out. You know, that sounds easy, doesn't it? But that takes forever. You keep peeling it off, putting it back on again, and you're thinking, oh, that poor canopy, I'm really tugging it here, and I'm, you know, and the hairdryer's making it go really red hot. But this is what the outcome is. Oh, if you look close, it's got a few little air bubbles and things in it. I'm hoping they're going to go away. But I'm reasonably happy with it. I've got to I'm going to put like maybe a silver line round here. I've got some more vinyl that I can put around there, and obviously it has a white, either white coming down here and down there, and there'll also be another line round here, so it'll have a bit more decal on it. I'm not sure yet whether to do, when I got it, it had like a red sort of emblem there with the stripes going up, and I think it was red there. Now again, I could paint that, or I could use like vinyl. I could probably use ordinary vinyl for that, and I'm going to get a guy and make me up the R22 decals, something like that. So the only problem I had a little bit was cutting around some of these edges, because like on here you couldn't really see the line of where you was going. And talking about not being able to see, I mean, probably the most scariest thing I've done was drilling out these two 8mm holes here, because can you imagine when the screen and the body's all lovely and clear, brand new and flexible, you know, you can see what you're doing, so you can line this up and you can see where that is going to fit on the helicopter, and you know what position the canopy is going to be, up, down. Also with these, you know, these were all split all right around here on both sides, you know, very damaged, but I've taken them back to raw plastic, and I've glued 2 lots of Ali sheet in there. I'll show you in a minute. 2 lots of Ali sheet, so it's kind of really strong, and I've glued up on the outside the cracks and whatever. So, you know, I'm hoping that it's going to hold. It's going to have vinyl over it anyway. But going back to these, can you imagine? I had no way of knowing where these holes really had to go, and I didn't know what was going to happen when I drilled them. You know, the bit's going to crack off it, you know, because there's quite a bit of fill around there and glue, you know. So that was a sort of a nightmare. What I did in the end was I put 2 little dabs of black paint on the end of these, and I managed to kind of get the canopy round and in, basically kind of where I wanted it, and then just sort of dabbed it on there and then pulled it off, and it left 2 little black marks. Now, they wasn't quite in the centre or anything, so I've measured, but it gave me, you know, that height for it to look okay on the helicopter. So I went, there's a centre line, like a moulding mark that's through there. So I went from there and I measured each side. I can't remember what the dimension was, and I think it was about 52 from the centres. And I just went for it. So I drilled a small hole, just kept enlarging them, and then I used my Dremel, because it's got sort of a radius there, so if you measure across that way it's different to, because of the radius on it. So I kind of got it somewhere near it, and I could see they just needed widening a little bit, so I put my Dremel on it again to get them in the right place, and it goes on lovely now. But these have got to have like a rubber grommet around them, you know. I mean, again, this whole, the guys that crashed the helicopter, it had like cracks all the way around it. There was hardly anything left of it. And again, I've reinforced around both of these, you know, whether it's going to stay there. I keep grinding it back and, you know, redoing it. I'm using like a slow 20-minute epoxy now, so it's got time to sink, you know, and try and grab hold. And I rough, you know, I'm using like 80 grade paper inside to try and get a key on this plastic, because it just don't seem to, you know, want to grip. So, you know, I was so happy when I got them on and it actually fit, because I had sort of a disaster, thought there was going to be a disaster. And like I say, the canopy, you know, the vinyl wrap will do the job. And, well, the other thing, obviously, was the tail boom. I'll get this off. Another mission. If you remember, the tail boom was in about 4 bits. Most of it was a lemonade bottle that had been wrapped round. I've made this one. It's made out of 3 pieces. So I managed to save this part here, which is the front. I managed to save like 6 inches. I think I can see the joint just there. So I saved like the 6 inches off the front. And what I did was this part here, I think it's about the size of an A4, about that long. From there to there is plastic card. So I bought 1mm plastic card, and I sort of folded it round to try and get that size taper. So when it went up onto this bit, the outside diameter was, flush with this, more or less. That sounded an easy job as well, doesn't it? But it was an absolute nightmare to do. To try and bend that, it just didn't want to bend. So I kind of used a Jubilee clip and a former at the front, and a Jubilee clip at the back there. So like that much, and then I turned it round and I glued. I had elastic bands around it as well, and I glued every kind of, like, say 10mm. I glued a little tag on it, so it was holding it together. And this plastic card, it glues really well with super glue. Once you glue it, you can't really get it apart. So you imagine this whole bottom section here, you can see where the seam actually finishes. So I would say from sort of there to about there is all plastic card. And I put tags all the way down here, glued them on, left them overnight, and I run cyano down it as well. And then when I undone the clips, it kind of had, it weren't this shape, but it sort of resembled a bit, like what I wanted. So it was kind of a bit pointy at the bottom. So I kind of ground it back best I could, and I put some filler in it. And what I did with them tags, I run epoxy down the inside of it, and then when it dried, I ground all the tags off. So all these tags that were down here, all the way down, I ground them all off, and it stayed together. And then I put a little bit of filler each side, just to kind of get the right shape to it. Not a lot. Then I glued a band in the inside of here, so it went into the inside of the bit that I saved. And the same with the back. I made a little short tail section up here. Again, not so bad because it was smaller. And I made a ring to go inside, so this fits in. So I just slotted it all together, and I pull it in the heli with the clamp. There's a clamp that goes on the back here, and I got it all square, and I just run cyano down each one of the grooves. So all this lot was glued together. When it came out, I was really quite pleased with it. So I put a bit more filler on it, rubbed it down to get the shape, but it's not very heavy. It looks about scale, I think, what it is. Quite a few coats of primer on it, and some filler, and now it's had the top coat on. So I'm quite sort of happy with that. Lots and lots of work. I think if you remember, I did it live on camera. I didn't know, but I looked down there and there was like a lemonade bottle that was like in there, which I thought was quite amusing. But I'm hoping to get the decals again on the side. Again, I'm not sure whether to paint the red on it, or whether I'm going to do it blue. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I have got some red vinyl and I've got some blue, so I could give it a go, or I could just mask it up and paint it. As to painting, I've been using, I experimented. I bought a polyurethane spray, because, like I said to you, the nitro is a nightmare with this. Whatever paint you use, the nitro will take it off. So you spend all this time doing it, and as soon as you get a speck of nitro on it, it takes the paint off. And this, I said, you have it painted by, a professional. It takes time and costs money. So I've been experimenting with some polyurethane clear like varnish, and I did a little bit on one of my cars the other day, and I painted it and I left it for a week to dry, and I put some like 25% nitro on it, and it didn't do anything to it. It was good. So what I'm probably going to do with this is I'm going to not do the vinyl, but I'm probably going to mask it up and just do the white paint with that polyurethane and see how we get on with that. So that, you know, I might also, I don't know if you can see the carburettor is right up against this body here. I might have to just cut a little piece out there, and I'm thinking of putting a nice little filter in there. So it should look quite good. I've seen some on YouTube, and they're running like 2 little lights inside of here, 2 little lights in there, and obviously all the navigation lights. I've got all the radio in it now. I think last time I didn't have the radio in it. I can't really be sure. It's always a bit scary as well. Come on, girl, you can do it. Right, let's put this somewhere safe. You see? Okay. This is what I've got so far inside. You know, the tail boom just screws on there, 2 tiny screws, and it's supported at the back, so it can't go anywhere. It's a bit close to this exhaust. I can't really do anything about that at the moment. But all the radio I've got in there, this fuel feed here, I did sort of wonder about this. Just move that up. The guy must have put this in himself, because I thought it was a bit strange, because it's got like around there, if you can see, that is where it should come out. I didn't realise, but I looked at some since. So the clunk should have come out there, but obviously the guy wants more of a direct route, so he's put it in there. Now whether that's going to leak or not, I don't know. So, you know, it's probably quite awkward to get the pipe from the other side into there, you know. And also, I don't think he had it pressure fed, so I'll drill and tap that. It's so thin, this stainless steel pipe. Whether that's going to stay in, I don't know. I might have to like braze something on there. And there's a hole in here which I've redone, and that is to get the tail boom out, I believe, or you can adjust it because it's on the screw where the tail boom is, so you can adjust it from there or from the back. But that is that. So I also, I mean, these servos are not fast by any means. They're kind of like, they're ancient. I haven't got a switch here. Let's just plug this in. I had to change one of them because, and don't laugh at my gyro, but that's only in there temporary. I should imagine if it's got a low head speed, that we're not going to need nothing too much, but I'm looking to get a 401 to go in there. Right, now, let's see what I've got on here. Right, so we've got the throttle there. I've got some, I think I've got this on the wrong model memory because it's not doing what it should do. Let's try it again. Oh well, I must have it on the wrong model memory. I won't go for it now, but it all worked okay. The thing that I had sort of an issue with on this, on the radar itself, was this servo. It was very slow and it was very weak because you've got such a long arm. If you look at that arm across there, that, you know, you could have it switched on and you could do that with it, and that's, you could sort of, look, can you see, like, you can hold it and you can see it bending this arm here. I have seen some metal arms of these. I don't know which model it's on, but you know that you can get a hell of a lot of movement on that, which, you know, was not that good really. But anyway, it's all in there. I put all new ball races in the head. It's got I've got new screws, and I've got you know, the clips and connectors, ball links and all that kind of thing on there. I've mounted all the servos on rubber mounts like they used to be. You know, I can't believe how slow the servos are, to be honest with you. But you know, that's the way it was back in the day. It's not a 3D model, is it? I'll be happy if she just, you know, can cruise around. I've seen a few on YouTube and they're powered by an OS52. You know, I mean, this is quite a heavy sort of helicopter to be powered by an OS52, but it was flying really nice. I'll be happy if mine can fly like that. I mean, this is a Laser 70, all rebuilt. So, you know, it's not going to be so revvy, but, you know, it's quite a powerful engine, I would imagine. I've not actually looked at the specs on it, but it's all in there and kind of looking good. I've not run it up yet. Obviously, I'll do a few test hovers first with without any of the body on it. I've got all the new on the back of the tail boom. There's I've got it from Midlands. They've sent me a few bits. I've got the tail for it. It makes it look really nice with the tail on the end there. But overall, she's not come out. All the linkage for you know, the throttle works okay because it goes from the servo there and it goes down. I believe this was made by Midlands, this little kit here, to operate the throttle. Got my filler pipe, pressure pipe. These don't actually touch the body, so I might extend them just to take a little bit of shake out the body and a little bit of stress. I'm hoping it's not going to be too much of a vibration on here. I think they also use semi-symmetrical blades, but the ones I got with it look like they're symmetrical blades. I'm not sure. I'll have to have a word with Trevor at Midlands and see what he might suggest for it, because, you know, it's going to need a fair bit of lift. The main shaft I've had to straighten out. Feathering shaft wasn't too bad. I think I told you I put it all together and then I realised that it was bent, so I've got that working all nice. I've got different flybar paddles. These are a bit lighter ones. Might make it a bit more agile, but, you know, I'm not too fussed with that. So that's where we are at the moment, guys. Radio's in, it's all working, if it was on the right model memory. And, you know, that's where we are at the moment. So I have been, in the meantime, I've been messing about with my Aprilia bodywork again. I've been sanding and sounding like for hours and hours. And I think I've finally finished it now. If I just take the camera off here and show you what I've actually been doing. Now that is all my bodywork off the Aprilia. Sorry, if you're getting my fingers in the way. Now that is all the bodywork. It's been taken down to raw plastic. All of it. Now, it must have had, I think it was 4 coats of paint on it, and they kept clogging up the sander, but underneath it wasn't too bad. Like I said to you, I had to scrape the paint off and trying to get all around the screw holes and stuff like that. And in the inside of the front panel was really bad, and you know, the screen, where the screen goes and all that. So it took me hours yesterday doing it by hand, trying to get all the paint out, because I just wanted a nice finish inside. I mean, the Aprilia is sitting here, you know, looking pretty. I've had both bikes out today because all this spray, my garage is covered in overspray, so I've had all the bikes out, dusted them all off, you know, cleared the garage out because it's been a right mess. You know, there's white dust everywhere. I normally spray outside, but the weather's not been great. I mean, today is the sort of best day we've had, you know, for a long while. So, you know, you can, it makes you feel like going out there and doing a bit of work. But, you know, I think the tail boom is like, I'm really pleased with that. That, you know, there's 3 pieces here now, and I could just, had to repair the front piece, obviously. But that little shape bit there with the shape on is what I wanted. It looks quite good. I think when we get the decals on it, it should look quite nice. But I've got a different array of servos on there. We've got the usual ones that came with the helicopters back in the day, or gone out of focus. But yeah, I think they're like JP servos, got a few Tava. I mean, the one I had on here was so slow I had to change it. Whether it was like that or not, I don't know. But you know, we've got quite a bit of room for all the wiring and stuff like that. Got quite a beefy head on it. Leather weights apparently supposed to make it a bit more stable. But yeah, overall I think she looks quite impressive. And well, I'm just hoping that it's going to fly. And I'm just hoping my eggshell of a Canopy is going to stay together. So anyway guys, I'm going to sign out now. I've still not got any ideas about my 4-cylinder engine yet, what I'm going to put it in, but I'm finished off some of my projects first, so I can try and get out when the lockdown's off and we can get out and do a bit of flying. So I'll speak to you later guys, look after yourself and I'll see you in the next one.